Hey Sagittarius, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. We take what works. We definitely leave what doesn't. And if I don't catch your wavelength or storyline overall in this reading, go check your other major placements. But you can also check your other major placements anyway, just for fun if you have the time. So I'm starting off with the Oracle decks of Moonology and Work Your Light. And we got just 6 came flying out right away. So the deck was eager to speak here. So we have expect powerful change, new moon eclipse. We just had a full moon eclipse, but this is a new moon eclipse. So expecting powerful change. Yep. An expectation, powerful change. And then we have surrender to the divine. I love this one. This is one of my favorites. Full moon. Surrender to the divine. Let the universe meet you halfway. Let the universe figure out some of the details. Let the universe do something and make some sort of decision, right? We're in this dance with the universe. And so letting it make its own dance moves and not feeling like we have to direct it or control it. So releasing some kind of control. We're expecting powerful change, but maybe we're also releasing expectation too. And, you know, the universe has our back. Things are working out for our best good. So allowing the universe to do that and trusting that. And then we have adjustments required, third quarter moon. So we're getting somewhere, we're headed somewhere, but maybe expectations are required, an adjustment in expectations are required, or we need to tweak something, or we need to see something from a different perspective. Some kind of adjustments required as we move forward here. And maybe the adjustment is just a surrendering and allowing for to not control something, not control a situation, not be in charge of that. We also have Pleiades, double mission channeling and uplifting humanity. So for this one, it usually means to me a conversation that's going to be very uplifting, maybe even with a group of people or with just another individual. But we're going to be having a conversation and everyone's going to benefit from it, feel good from it. I mean, we're going to have lots of conversations this week, but this is a specific one, right? This is something specific having to do with these other cards probably. Maybe allowing the other person to take some sort of lead in a conversation, or that everyone's going to feel there's a conversation that needs to be had, but there's the potential there for everyone to feel uplifted and better about the situation after the conversation. Warrior woman, have you answered your deepest calling? Speaking of conversation, this could be a phone conversation or something like that. And answering it, but your deepest calling. That sounds like a lot of pressure to identify your deepest calling and then make sure you're answering it in a warrior woman type way. That sounds like a lot of pressure to me. So let's see if we can't lighten that one up a bit. Well, we've got a sword here for clarity, clear communication. That could have to do with this channeling and uplifting humanity. A precision maybe coming in here. So it doesn't have to be your whole soul's deepest calling for all of eternity and all of this life, right? We don't have to have terms like that here. So some sort of, the sword here is truthful, honest, being honest with yourself, I think, and with this conversation, maybe being honest with somebody else. And then Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. So Sisterhood of the Rose, to me, talks a little bit about both learning and teaching at the same time. Learning, you know, we stand on the shoulders of masters here. I've learned a lot from other people, and maybe other people are learning something from me. But you know, just being part of that sort of train of thought that moves through eternity, and being your own part of that, both receiving from teachers, but also being able to pass that on and teach. Maybe that has to do with a calling that you have, a deep calling. And I like beauty and devotion. I like devotion because it references sticking with something. There's something that you're sticking with it. And this conversation could be something, a teaching moment, seeing into a situation with a lot of clarity and being able to communicate that clarity. You know, maybe it's the timing that needs to be surrendered to the divine. All right, Sagittarius, we're going to move on to the Tarot Mystical Moments for more traditional tarot spread here. We've got past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, to-do list, and possible outcome. Okay, yes, I like this. I like some of the themes I'm seeing come up here. This High Priestess here made me chuckle because of how this reading was already coming in. It's fun. So in your recent past, you have Four of Cups. Four of Cups at its core is an offer and a refusal of that offer, or not, that offer not being accepted. So maybe there was a job offer, maybe there was an offer of a relationship or conversation, but this is like, I've had enough of this and I don't need it anymore, is typically what we see. I also, though, in the way she depicts this card, I can't help but see some kind of protection that you don't know about, that you don't see. And that's in this specific card with this specific picture. But typically Four of Cups is there's been some sort of overindulgence and we don't need it anymore. We don't need to keep making the same choice anymore, the same decision. We don't need this. And so I have a hard time reconciling that with the clear depiction. I mean, because in a way she could be like, I just really don't need this umbrella anymore. I know you keep following me around with this umbrella. You keep following me around with this offer, with this protection. I don't need it. I don't want it. But there can also always be a sense in Four of Cups of just having not being able to see. A lot of times, you know, in other decks, and Pamela Colman Smith depicts it as, you know, almost like you've had too much to drink. That's generally, when we look at the Four of Cups on the tree, the Kabbalah, we're seeing it at this very generous moment in the most generous side. So there's a sense of generosity piled on generosity, and there's an indulgence over there. Something's been overindulged in. It's too soft. It's too generous. And it's created, you know, it's like too soft a bed. It's just piles of softness. And yes, that's great. But what happens when you sleep on that for 8 hours and you wake up the next morning and you can't move because the softness was overly accommodating? So that's often with the Four of Cups, but the Pamela Colman Smith deck depicts the recipient, or the would-be recipient, can't even see the offer coming in because they've already had enough and they don't need any more, or they don't want any more. They don't need any more. This could be the real deal, but it's been declined. So there's a not seeing, not accepting, I want to say not consenting to some sort of offer, right? She didn't really ask the goose to protect her. She hasn't asked for this at all. And then this goose may have been overprotected. Maybe she was protected too much here, protected in a way that she can take it for granted. But at its core, the Four of Cups is some sort of overindulgence and some sort of not accepting it, or not consenting to it, not agreeing to it, whether they can't see it, or they're tired of it, or they just don't like you. It wasn't consented to. It's an indulgence that's no longer being welcomed. And then in your current situation, we have High Priestess, which is making sense to me for how this reading's coming in for me personally. High Priestess is about, it's very spiritual card, obviously. It's about spiritual growth. It's about emotional growth. But there's a sense of what can be seen and what cannot be seen, what can be known and what cannot be known. And there's a sense of, she's the tarot to me. And she's like, because the tarot tells us what it wants us to hear, not necessarily the whole story. So what's for our greatest good to hear. It's not going to tell us the whole story here. You're in a situation where you can't see everything, and you know you can't see everything. You know you're not getting the full picture. You know you don't know. I mean, in this one, you're not seeing this protection here. And in your current situation, there's something where you, oh, I see where we're going here. You know you're not getting the full story. You know you're not getting the whole picture. You know there's something amiss here. There's something you don't see. There's something being withheld and hidden from you. I usually see the High Priestess as the tarot in general saying, I'm not telling you, I'm not giving you answers. But the way the rest of the cards here look, it just looks like something's being withheld from you. And you know that, right? You know, I can always tell when people are lying to me. I can't always tell why they're lying to me. It might be not a non-reason for me. It might be not a big deal to me, but to them, they have a lot of issues piled onto it. So they think they need to keep something hidden from me, when if they told me, it would not be a big deal to me at all. Or maybe it would be a big deal to me and they know to keep it hidden. But what it does is I know that someone's lying to me and I just don't know why. Is it a big deal or is it not a big deal? Is it their hang up or is it really something I'm going to be very upset about? So, so in this situation, I'm seeing that there's some sort of withholding of it. You might be withholding the information, but looking at your hopes, your fears, and your inner landscape, it kind of looks like it could be someone else withholding information. So there's only a half revealed truth here, a half revealed understanding. Something's hidden and you know it. But I see this half smile here. I don't know what's going on with this card. It's really wild. There's a half smile involved. So this reminds me of a surprise party being planned, although we're very far from Sagittarius surprise party land. We're on the opposite side of the calendar from when that would happen. But this High Priestess energy, it's like there's some kind of secret. And you know it. You know there's some kind of, you know there's a secret. That's basically like all you know right now is there's a secret. Your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, what you're worried about is the Seven of Swords. This is what I'm talking about. This is why the meaning of the High Priestess changed a bit, is the Seven of Swords. Sneaky behavior, lying behavior, withholding information. Basically, Seven of Swords, swords are about communication. Seven of Swords is going to be about either someone not communicating at all, silent treatment. They're not communicating about a certain thing, or straight up lying, right? And anytime we're dealing with that, and this is what you're worried about. You're worried that it's like, you know, something's being kept from you, and your fear is that you're being stolen from, you're being cheated on, you're being, you're right, because this snake is not roses. This reminds me how sometimes some men will give roses when they've done something bad that they don't want to talk about. They'll give you roses. Or flowers, not roses. They'll just give you a bouquet of flowers instead of talking about that they just cheated on you or whatever. Not all the time. That would be so horrible. Wouldn't it be horrible if every time someone gave you flowers, you were just like, oh, must mean that they're cheating on me. But it has happened. So this is the stealing, the theft, the cheating. There's something being withheld from you, and that's your fear. It's like, you know, there's something being withheld. Maybe you're doing some withholding and you're worried other people are doing withholding from you. But it's a way to, lying, withholding information, silent treatment is a way to control somebody else. It's saying, I'm not going to be honest and forthright with you because I don't want your response. I don't want to have to deal with that. So how I avoid dealing with that is by telling you something else or just not talking to you about it. And it disallows you, it erodes the relationship, and it disallows the other person to have an honest response, or information they're entitled to, and autonomy over how they want to respond to the truth, to reality, to what's going on. It's basically a way to rob somebody else of autonomy. And that's what we're seeing here is, and so you're worried about that, having that choice of your response and you being free to make choices being robbed from you and being taken from you right under your nose. Right, so the serpent is stealing 5 of their eggs, and they have 2 more here, so that's 7. And then here they are. Here are the mama and papa flying around here, and the serpent is stealing the eggs. She doesn't want to be seen, doesn't want to be caught. So, but I want to reiterate that this is in your fears column. This is what you're afraid of. You're afraid that someone's cheating on you and someone's intentionally robbing you of your autonomy to be able to make decisions that are best for you, with the full set of facts. So this is what you're worried about. And coming after the high priestess, it seems pretty interesting to me. This half revealed stuff, and then you're worried that there's more that hasn't been revealed. What's at issue here? 7 of Wands reversed. Not making space for yourself, for your dreams, for your own vision, not standing up for yourself, not standing up for, or someone here isn't standing up for themselves. Not standing up for what they believe in, not standing up for their vision of how they want things. You may not be able to stand up for yourself, especially if someone's withholding information and manipulating you in that way, by not treating you as an equal. And but that's your fear. That's your fear that you're not being treated as an equal. But the issue is not standing up for yourself. So maybe you haven't even had this conversation with someone to say, ooh, and maybe that's why you need to be the warrior woman, is because here you're not standing up for yourself. You're not making space for your own dream, your own vision. There's no space for your own vision here. You're behind bars. You're being held in. You're not fighting for yourself. You're not fighting for your own freedom. You're not fighting for your own dreams. You're not fighting for it. And maybe that's why we're asking for the warrior woman to come out, because we have you imprisoned and not even, you're either not caring or you don't see how to do this or why, or you know you're missing information. And this is preventing you from really living out your reality, your dreams, your passions. In your environment, someone around you or the situation around you. 9 of Wands, this is the wounded warrior. This is, there's 3 wands here, so this is very much about energy work and spirituality and maybe even creative projects. So, or sexuality too. It's all sitting in the same sort of subconscious region or region of the psyche. All of that sits in the same area. So 9 of Wands, wounded warrior, continuing to go on. She's gardening, but man, is she torn up. Continuing to move on. The situation is demanding that you move forward. It's like you're not being released from duty. You can't go home from work. It's weird because like you should probably not be flipping burgers with open wounds here, but your boss is keeping you here. The situation demands that you continue working with it, even though you've been deeply wounded by it and you want to quit. The situation does not allow you to quit. You have to keep going. So there's something in the situation or someone around you that's keeping going, even though they're wounded. They're limping to the finish line. They got, 90% done with the marathon, and now they just think this is the worst idea, and they hate whoever suggested it, and they don't want to keep going, but they're going to, because who gets 90% done of it? I mean, they have to keep going. So this is like wanting to be medically discharged from the military, but they won't give that to you, even though it's pretty obvious to everybody else that's what needs to happen. No quit. There's no quit here. The situation, you're not at a break point. You're not at a quitting point. You got to keep going, even though you're tired, or someone around you is just super exhausted, and they just keep going. This is like, you've already been caught in the lie. Why are you still lying? Oh my gosh. So that could be a possible thing, but they just don't feel like they can. So that's your environment. Your to-do list. I like this to-do list. I kind of do and I kind of don't. I don't know. We're going to non-judgmentally, I guess, explore the Hanged Man as your to-do list. Wait, watch and wait. Watch and wait. Figure out how you got here while you're waiting. Figure out the choices you made, the things you prioritized to get here. Watching and waiting for things to be revealed, right? We've got this zipper that's opening, and very slowly gravity, the divine, is going to open up this zipper and reveal the things that you can't see here. So it's just a waiting game. I think there's a sense of wanting to quit. There's a sense of wanting to move on, but there's a waiting game here, and you've got to be strong for that. Really be thinking. A little bit up in your head is the Hanged Man a little bit, right? The blood's rushing to the head. So it's, you know, sometimes we get the don't think too much cards, but this is like, you could do a little more thinking about the situation. Think about it. Think about how you got here. I'm reminded of the REM song, Stand in the Place Where You Are. Think about direction and wonder why you have it. And it's going to open. Something's going to open up and be revealed, but it's going to take time, and you're not in control of that time. But the time is also here for the purpose of you to think it through. Now, that doesn't mean that the second you get it all thought through, everything opens and flows. It just means you're here to think this through. You've got to think about something. There's a pause button here. And yeah, it's reminded me of Ratatouille, like freeze frame. How did I get here? That's sort of the thing. And then we're going to think about and look at how we got to that situation while it's on pause. So that's what we're doing here. Situation is paused. Your job is to surrender, I guess, to divine timing. And while you're here, you might as well think about some things and how you got here and what the situation is, how the situation is going. But things will be revealed. It's just not going to be in your timing or how you want. But you got to think some things through. Where possible outcome here, Six of Wands. Well, this couldn't be better. Six of Wands, our third wand card of the reading, and this is victory. This is victory with a little victory parade, and everybody benefits. This is reminding me of this. Like, there's something's gonna happen where everyone benefits. Your victory is everybody else's victory. You're right, uplifting humanity here. This is something good's coming in, and people are going to be cheering you on, are going to be very happy for you. And other people will benefit from you achieving what you wanted to achieve. This is, you know, here you're not headed towards where you want to achieve what you want to do. Here you've achieved it. You followed your wand, you followed your inner intuition, and you accomplished something, and people benefit from that and are really happy about that. Here you're not trying. You're not fighting for what you need and what you believe in. You're not being asked to fight for what you need and what you believe in. You're being asked to think about what you need. But further down the line, we've got victory. We've got maybe with something else, maybe with this, victory that benefits other people and is appreciated and enjoyed by other people. And there's a lot of community support here. There's a lot of people along for your ride here. You know, they've got their own lives, but also they're here to support you. So basically, overall for the reading, we've got the High Priestess, things being kept hidden, things that aren't being revealed. And we've got the Hanged Man just waiting for that stuff to be revealed and thinking about how you got here. All right, I hope that was helpful, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments. Very much appreciate them. And I'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks.